Hello and welcome to another episode of Agape Dads. I'm Julian Cortez. Today we have the great pleasure of hearing from Mike Lark, recently a father of one. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, Julian. Hey, doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem, no problem. Mike, if you could start us off by telling us what your childhood was like growing up.
Great. Yes. So I was one of four, the eldest of four kids. So I have two brothers and one sister. My brother's 3 years younger than me. My sister's 5 years younger than me. And then my younger brother is 12 years younger than me. So I had quite an interesting childhood. Yeah, it was like I was obviously the oldest, but I felt like I've almost been a dad twice. So I looked after my youngest brother, 12 years between us. So I kind of saw his whole childhood journey and then got to, my point now. I'm 37 and our baby's 2, our little baby girl. So I'm at the start of fatherhood and on my journey.
I'm sure that childhood has impacted you as a dad today, it seems.
Definitely. Yeah, it's interesting. So I would say my relationship with my dad was interesting. I mean, like he was a great dad. I love him very much. But he was the practical dad. Did everything he needed to do in terms of, working hard, looking after us financially. But then when it came to emotionally, conversations, getting insight into life, dad was just, it was like, go
Yeah.
and talk to your mother.
Now, Pearl is 2 now. If she was to be asked what her childhood is like when she's older, what would you hope she would say?
Wow, that's a great question. Um, I would love her to say it was fun, adventurous, challenging, and loving.
Nice, nice.
Mhm.
How would you describe yourself as a dad?
Julian, these are great questions. So it's interesting. That's a great thought to think. So I think my wife and I have had some good conversations because within my childhood, within my framework of growing up, my parents were very like I had a lot of bandwidth in terms of what I was allowed to do. Generally, just general activities. I was given a lot of room,
Hmm.
so I kind of had to self-regulate myself to work out. Okay, is that like, am I stopping here? Am I pushing out a bit further? Like, where's the boundary? Where Paula grew up and was more sort of like, hey, you're allowed to do this, So as a parent style, I am very sort of like, okay, a little bit more relaxed, like kind of watch her, kind of work it out, and then wait for her to try and make her decisions and kind of guide her. Where Paula's sort of like, jump in, like, hey, this is what you do, this is why we do it, So I would say we're both on left and right sides, and we're kind of, I can't be so relaxed, and then she's sort of coming into the middle and being like,
Right.
okay, maybe I could just, lighten up a little bit, but also we do need to have some discipline. So that's our journey so far.
Yeah.
So
So knowing what you know now, I mean, I'm curious to know what would you had said to Mike before he became a dad?
wow, great. I would have said a lot of the things that you think are not as important as they are now. So, like in terms of my drive for
Hmm.
professionalism, career,
Mm.
trying to get ahead, or that drive in me, I've had to kind of like put that to a back burner and be like,
Mm.
okay, actually, these next few years, it's more important that I support my wife, support Pearl, help her to grow, to understand. So that's kind of like shifted me to make that now my goal or my challenge. So, and it helps because then in my drive, I'm not like, oh, I'm missing out, or oh, I wish I had have made these decisions. Like, oh man, I'm loving this. I just want to go now to this direction. So I set myself new challenges every day. If it's sounds crazy, but if it's like even getting Pearl to sit down on the potty, that for me
Right.
becomes like a challenge and a reward. And I kind of, do different things with that rather than like, hey, today I'm in finance. Like I need to make money and do this, and kind of that direction I'm
Right.
pivoting a little bit more. So, yeah.
Now take us on a journey of when you became a dad for the first time.
Oh, that's great. Well, I definitely was not expecting to feel the emotions and the
Mm,
love that came, but it wasn't instant. So with Paula, she was very attached to Pearl from
mhm.
day one. You know, gave birth, and it was like I love, and I was like, babe, I just got to be honest. Like I love it, but I don't feel what you're feeling right now. Like I don't have that connection.
Mhm.
And then, but then over, I would say when we got to 6 months, I was like, oh my goodness, like this is amazing. And I started to realize, I was like, oh, this is what you felt 6 months ago. Like, because you birthed her, you carried her. So
Right.
I'm just catching up to your, birthing months. And so then I was like, oh, okay, yes, like I get this. But it did take time. It wasn't like an instant, I love you and I feel this. It took me, I would say, a good 6 months before I actually caught up with my emotional love attachment for her um, as a dad.
Are you experiencing terrible twos?
Oh, yes, that's a yes. So I would say, I think it was probably about a month ago, she had her first like full blown tantrum, like
No.
on the floor, like legitimately losing her mind. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, like what have I done? Like, and like, I was like, I said to Paul, I was like, babe, like, I don't think she's okay. Like, what's going on right now? And then, started to realize it. And then she kind of like half like opened her eye and I could tell, I was like, oh, I see what you're doing. So you're trying to like, I'm inside quietly losing it, but you're also trying to like work it out and test me and test us. So yes, it was definitely an eye opener. Yeah. Yeah.
What are some of the things that you would like to instill in your child?
Great. So my wife Paula is a very independent, strong woman, and I love that about her. So I would love Pearl to just know who she is, be independent, make her own decisions, and just really see the world through, feel empathy and compassion for people. So understand the world, see it, be engaged, but also realize that you may have grown up like this, but there's other people, other experiences. So listen, think, and learn. You know.
Right. And then if God forbid Pearl is ever in any type of bullying, whether on the playground or in school, what do you think
Mm.
might be some practical ways that you and Paula will handle that?
Yeah, great. Yeah. So we talked about this because it was, I think as a dad, one of the biggest things I
Yeah.
think I would personally struggle with, because I'd be like, man, I'm going to get angry, and Paula would too. So so yeah, and I think that's the I think when I look at my childhood, like I had two instances of bullying that I could say were like really like hard. And I remember going home and I was like, Mum, like this kid, he's like really in my grill. He's
Hmm.
at me all day. He wants to start things. He wants to take my lunch away. And I remember saying, she was like, why don't you invite him round? And I was like,
What?
invite him round, like as in, you want him to come over? She's like, yeah, let's just get him around. Like I know this is hard, but why don't you see, like, let's just see if he wants to come over for a play. And
Wow.
I was like, Mom, that is, I'm not doing that. And she's like, no, just let's see, trust me. I was like, okay. So that day, or a couple of days later, I went to this kid and I was like, hey, like I know we've had some differences. You don't like me, obviously. I don't like you, but maybe you could come around for a play. and, so,
Wow.
and he did come around for a play, and it was actually really amazing because I saw Mum in that kind of mediate us a little bit outside of like the playground and outside of school and stuff. And he was just having a tough time at home, and she was like helped us. She was like, hey, well, maybe you could talk about this with your parents, and maybe Mike just wants to like hang out and just play, and maybe you guys and it was a great time because we mediated it without like erupting or things
Right.
happening. So that is my example. As weird as it sounds, I would love to say, hey, like this person's causing you troubles, get them over, let's have
Right.
a chat, and like
That's
let's see
amazing.
what we can work out. Like I know you don't like them, they don't like you, but hey, maybe we could have a conversation that might just get us to a place. So.
Yeah. What advice would you give fathers who might be struggling with that type of heart to really
Mm,
showcase the sacrificial love, but also just that unconditional love towards
mm,
everyone?
great. Yeah, I think when you feel angry or when those emotions arise in you of like
Mhm.
frustration, anger, like you just know you're in a not in a good spot. I always try and take a step back and think, okay, what is this person? What would it be like in their
Right.
footsteps? And once I do that, I kind of get to a place where I'm like, okay, now my anger comes down. I'm like, oh man, you know what? It must be really hard for that person. So I need to back up because me doing this, getting in their face, whatever, it's just not going to be healthy. It's
Yeah.
not going to end well. So why don't I just take that and I honestly try not to make any decisions when I know I'm not in a good place. If that's angry, frustrated, if it needs to wait a day, if I need to come back and think about it, write it down, revisit it, write that email. That's often what I do. I'll write an email, draft it up, and I can tell my tone is just a little bit too either passive aggressive or I'm not
Right.
really telling you what I wanted to. I'm just telling you my emotions. So I come back, revisit it, and often after that initial thought, I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't need to say that. That's just a lot of stuff that I'm feeling. I just need to stick to the point, engage this person, talk to them about it, and just trust them. And away we go.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's great that men especially should write things down because you can see the frustration in your wording on paper, on electronics,
Yeah.
before you let that out. Because we speak from the heart from times, and then we
Yeah.
go back and we say we're sorry, and we
Yeah.
could prevent that.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Mike, what are you looking forward to as a father?
Uh, I think I'm looking forward to just adventures. I know that sounds like I just really want to. I want Pearl to grow up and for us to have just adventures. Whether or not that's going out, talking, walking, traveling, uh, just enjoying each other's time
Hmm.
together. Because I think when I was growing up, because I was from a bigger family, when we went to a restaurant, anything, having six of us, it was like an entourage just walked in. It was like,
Right.
and you could see everyone like go, is that the dad, the mom, the sister, husband? Like there's a lot of age difference here. Like what's going on? So, but in those moments we had a lot of fun. And I think just certain things that we will do, Pearl and I together. If it's a camping trip or once a year we drive somewhere and just hang out together. Like I think that excites me the most. An adventure with my daughter, and then just having those times together to talk, work through things, have those conversations. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Are there any subjects or ideologies that you're going to be passionate about being the one to teach her?
That's good. So I think adolescence is going to be hard for me. Yes,
Mm,
I
yeah.
think I think the whole boyfriend, sex, drugs, and rock and roll
Right.
will take me some navigating. And because Pearl's our first daughter, our eldest, I think that's gonna. Yeah, you'll have to ask me that question in 13 years. Hopefully by then I'll have a bit more wisdom. But I think that will be probably the biggest test for me as a dad is trying to work to. And I've spoken to a lot of dads, within that age group, and I can tell it's not easy. So yeah, just navigating that wisely and having good wisdom,
Yeah.
but also realizing that she has to grow up, and I think as a dad, as I'm walking with her now, I'm like, man, like I always want to be your dad. I want to look after you, want to take care of you. So yeah.
Do you believe that during their crucial years, 2, 3, 4 years old, that proper parenting is important?
Hmm. Yes, yes. So I think I've seen that more than I think I've ever
Hmm.
understood. So I've one of my roles also too is being able to look after some families at our local
Hmm.
church and seeing them navigate these years in a good way or a bad way in terms of their parenting
Right.
has really helped me to understand. Yeah. So I think I probably overdo it in terms of like how I talk to her, engage her, say please and thank you. I don't know if like all parents do that, but I try and make an effort to be like,
Right.
oh, these are like, if I don't concentrate on this now with her, I don't think I'll be able to get to 5, 6, 7, 8 and be able to like, pull it back and say, hey, listen, we don't yell.
Mhm.
We do say please and thank you. And let's listen while people are talking, so trying to talk her through those.
Right. That's so good. What are some of the rewards of fatherhood?
Wow, I think every day is a reward, both the good and the bad. So I often get up before Pearl. So I'm always like kind of set my day. And then that gives me like a nice footing. So then when we're doing all the things we're doing, I always see the day as like the whole day is a reward. So it's whether or not it's like we're running around potty training and I'm chasing her and like, hey babe, you got to sit down right now, to, you know, trying to get her to nap and she's literally, crawling her way out of the bedroom because she thinks somehow like life's just ended. So I think that, yeah, all of those rewards, I love the small moments with her, like just being able to talk to her, see her respond to me, because two's just such a great age. She's starting to sentences, her words are clear, she knows she's engaging, so it's not like just a blob, a baby,
Mhm. Right.
so that's rewards. I think, to be honest with you, I feel like I haven't slept in 2 years. Like the other side of that is like learning. It took me a long while to learn that sleep is no longer an option.
Right.
And I think to start with, I was like really like, oh man, this is nuts. Like, how do I do this? And now I'm like, I've got to a point where I'm like, I'm not trying to benchmark my sleep, in terms of like, I need 8 hours, I need this. So now I just like, if I'm working, whatever, and I've got a few minutes, I literally just kind of, put my head down, nod off for a few
Yeah.
minutes. I'm like, okay, maybe that's just it. That's the new normal. I'm okay with that. And that in itself is a reward because you just
Right.
do things differently. Yeah. Yeah.
Has there been any memorable moments that you think of now that you smile about or laugh about?
Yeah, so Paula is a singer. My wife sings, and so all through the pregnancy, Pearl has basically in her womb heard her sing, and
Hmm.
so it's amazing. I mean, like she can sing full songs now, like and really, I mean, like I can't hear it, but I say to Paula, like, is she in tune? Like, is she hitting the notes? She's like, yes, absolutely, and her rhythm and her timing. And that's just great fun because we can put on a song now and just like sing with her, and she dances and she kind of like does movements and opens, closes her eyes, and you're just like, oh, that's it. I can already see her like gifting and her talents in that
Right.
in that area.
I think that's a perfect place to end this wonderful interview with you, Mike. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, Julian, really appreciate it, and thank you too for everything you're doing. I mean, like, this is such a great avenue for dads to just really be encouraged, educated, have wisdom, so appreciate you as well.
Thank you. And thank you for those kind words. Thank you for watching another episode of Agape Dads. If you would like more information or to watch previous episodes, please visit agapedads.com. Or if you could go to the YouTube channel and make sure to subscribe to that. And if you're on the go, download the podcast. Thank you. And thanks again for watching.